Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Anderson with First Team Real Estate, and today I have here with me Hande Tan, who is a registered dietitian. She actually has two jobs, and I'm reading this so I get it right. Vice President of Operations at Dietitians of Orange County, and is a clinical dietitian at the Huntington Beach Hospital. And truth be told, she has a third job because she does one-on-one consulting, nutrition consulting, so she can help anyone and everyone. So I want to thank you for being here today, Hande, and sharing your knowledge with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. I just kind of like to start out with, given the current environment, how is COVID affecting your patients or your clients right now in the past 6 months?
Yeah, well, in the hospital setting, we are getting COVID patients. And with that population, our main problem has been that, when you're sick, you don't feel like eating most of the time. So a lot of them have poor appetite. And one of the side effects of COVID is actually loss of taste and smell. So I get a lot of patients who are trying to fight the infection, but they don't feel like eating. So they don't eat and they don't have the strength to fight off the infection because they're not getting enough calories and protein. So on one side, I'm dealing with that. And then on the other side, we have, of course, patients and clients who don't have COVID, but who have been quarantined at home all this time. And as the case for a lot of people, including myself, a lot of us find comfort in food. So what has happened over these crazy couple months is that a lot of people have turned to food for comfort. And you may have seen, people are baking a lot more at home and trying to cook more at home, which generally leads to eating a lot more than we were before. And we're not as active because we're not out and about. So I've been dealing with a lot of patients who have been gaining a lot of weight over these past couple months and trying to help them with losing the weight as well. So COVID has impacted everyone in one way or another, whether it's, they have it or they don't.
Right. Okay. Well, that pretty much covers everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What do you find that people's biggest challenges are, either before COVID or during? You kind of shared during COVID, but
Yeah.
just in general, why people come to you?
Well, in general, weight loss is always one of them. People are trying to lose weight and they want to do it in a healthy way. They want to talk to a dietitian to see how they can change their diet. And of course, I also deal with patients who have chronic diseases that can be managed with how they're eating. It could be diabetes, it could be heart problems, it could be kidney problems. All of these chronic conditions can be managed by, adjusting how you're eating and taking care of your diet. So those are generally the people that I tend to work with, to help them, make changes to how they're eating so that they can take better care of themselves, be in a healthier state. So that whether it's losing the weight, whether it's getting their blood sugars down or, managing their salt so they have less heart problems, all of that generally is what I'm working with on a daily basis.
Okay. What do you find are people's biggest misconceptions about nutrition, whether it's okay not to eat fat, or you should cut out carbs, or all these trendy diets that go through, and all the intermittent fasting, and it goes on and on. I'm sure
Yeah.
What do you feel is just the most misunderstood by people?
It's exactly what you mentioned, actually. It's the fact that people think that they need to follow these specific diets like intermittent fasting or a keto diet or go gluten-free or follow a cabbage soup diet, whatever it may be, to help lose weight and be healthier. And they think, okay, if I do that, then I'm going to lose the weight, I'm going to be healthy. But then what happens is a lot of these diets, these fad diets, are not really sustainable in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll follow it, whether it's for a couple weeks, a couple months maybe, but eventually people end up going back to their old habits. But in order to actually be healthy, you have to see it as a lifestyle change. And that's what I always recommend. Just make small changes over time that you're going to be able to keep up with. Whether it's, if you're having 3 sodas a week, drop it down to 1 and then eventually cut that out. Not making this big change in how you're eating. And then, when it comes to it, if you want to, well, we can't really go out with our friends anymore, but,
not right now.
If you were going out with your friends, then you think, I can't follow it because of my diet. And then eventually you think, well, I want to go out and eat with my friends. So then you stop that diet and then you go back to your old habits. But allowing yourself that moderation, following a general healthy diet on a regular basis, and then allowing a couple days where, you can cheat and have a meal with your friends and have a drink with your friends, whatever it is. Just not keeping yourself kind of boxed in that one particular diet that you have to follow, but kind of doing more overall healthy lifestyle.
That's great advice. It's so true. I'm guilty of all the above. So, um, and do you have any thoughts on dining out? I know right now we're still dining out because we're doing takeout, but
Right.
just as far as how to navigate a menu at a restaurant, things to either look for or avoid so that you might not go totally overboard and go totally off your diet, but just try and make better decisions.
Right. So anytime you're eating out, kind of keywords to always look out for is, of course, fried. You want to try to stay away from anything that's fried and go for options that are more baked or grilled or, things that are going to be on the healthier side. And also trying to stay away more from red meat and picking more chicken, turkey, fish options. Those tend to be a little bit lower in calories and they're healthier meat options in general. If you're getting anything that has some sort of a sauce, trying to avoid creamy sauces. They tend to have a lot of fat in them. So trying to go for lighter sauces, not so much cream-based things, whether that's a sauce or a soup, all those of the above. And of course, fast food. I know fast food is the easiest thing for a lot of people, but
Convenient.
thankfully, a lot of fast food restaurants nowadays have healthier options. They'll have like a baked chicken sandwich. They'll have, no one wants to pick a salad instead of fries when they go to a fast food place.
Very true. One of the reasons you go there in the first place.
Exactly. But if fast food is something you're having every day, picking a salad for at least one of your meals is really going to help cut back on how much calories and fat you're having.
Mhm.
And of course, trying to go for more water than soda if you're eating out. Those are all going to be kind of options. And nowadays, most restaurants are really good about posting how many calories are actually in their food. So
I
I
know,
suggest
kind of takes the fun out of eating out,
it
actually.
really does.
At
I
some
know.
point.
I know. But if you were to take a look at it, you'll see a lot of restaurants have really big portions.
Yeah.
So you'll realize that one portion that you're eating actually is worth 2 meals. So I always suggest if it's something big, eat half, wait a little bit, see if you're still hungry, and then go back to it eventually. But most of us will be satisfied with just half of what we were eating. Like, for example, if you get a big burrito, just eat half for now, see how you feel in an hour or two. If you're still hungry, you can eat the rest, but chances are you're going to want to save that for your next meal. And that'll
Hmm.
kind of help balance out how much you're eating.
Oh, it's a good idea. I've tried to leave a few bites on my plate
Yeah,
instead of being the clean plate club, how we train our kids, eat everything on your plate.
I know.
And so to try and train my brain that to leave something is okay. Or like you said, take it home,
Yeah.
which I think is a great idea. Are there any secrets you think that a lot of people don't know that you can share with us, whether they're intentionally kept secret, good or bad, I guess I should say,
um,
about diet and nutrition?
A couple things, people may have heard these before or they may not have, but one of the things I always have people be mindful of is anything that says fat-free or low fat. And I'm not talking about like dairy products, not milk or anything, but let's say you're buying some crackers or cookies, whatever it is, and it says low fat on there or
Mhm.
fat-free. Chances are, if it still tastes pretty yummy, they added a lot of sugar in to make up for it. That tends to
So
be
is
the
it,
case.
which is worse, the fat or the sugar?
So you want less of both.
Wrong answer. Okay.
Because a lot of times what gives food its flavor is either salt, fat, or sugar. So if they're cutting out one of them, chances are they're upping the other two to help make up for the loss of flavor there. So just be mindful of that, especially if you have, high blood sugar usually, and you're going for this low fat, fat-free item thinking, oh, that's good for me. It might not be because the sugar in it is really high. So I always suggest checking the ingredients. And the other thing is always look at the ingredients list of the foods that you're buying. I don't know if most people are aware, but those are listed in the amount that they are in the actual product. So, whatever's listed first, that is what's most in that product. The second thing on the ingredients list is the second most. So let's say you're buying some bread and you look at the ingredients and the second thing on there is sugar. That means in that bread, the second most ingredient is
Yeah.
sugar, which is
Ew.
not what you would expect out of your bread.
No, not at all. Not
Yeah.
at all. I'd much rather have a cookie than a piece of bread if I'm going to have sugar. Just saying.
Exactly. And sometimes when you look at that and compare it, you might think this cookie has as much, calories and fat and sugar as this whole wheat bread that I thought was really healthy. So just kind of getting in the habit of checking that is actually a really good idea, especially if you're eating a lot of packaged products.
Yeah, which is not a good idea to begin with, right?
Right. But sometimes that's all we got. And,
Yeah,
it's the easy snacks.
right, right. And it's convenient and everybody's
Hmm.
always got so much to do. So
Exactly. Yeah.
if people have more questions, how would they reach out to you or get a hold of you? What's the best way?
So they can always email me. My email is nutritionhtl@gmail.com. So they can send me an email and I'd be happy to answer questions or do one-on-one consults. I really believe that there isn't one cookie cutter way of doing a healthy diet. Everyone's different, everyone's situation's different. So I'm
Mhm.
all about doing more individualized plans for everyone to see what works for you and your lifestyle. Because food isn't just, this is what we eat to fuel our body. It's a whole part of our lives in terms of our social lives, our happiness. You
Right.
know, it's not just nutrients. So I'm always more for working with what you've got, whether it's your work situation, your family situation, just trying to get a healthy lifestyle in whatever environment that you're in right now.
Yeah, and your key point is just sustainable because I think
Hmm.
everybody, it's the whole thing is, yeah, I can do this great diet. Well, it's a fad diet for a reason because you
Right.
get over it and go back. And so the whole idea, like you said, it's a lifestyle change and it's just a mindset. I mean, you really have to
Exactly.
think so differently. It isn't like, oh, great, in 3 weeks I can have cookies again,
Yeah, exactly. It's
which
like
I'm
you can,
guilty of too.
yeah. And that could be part of your regular diet too. You could eat healthy every day and once a week you have some cookies and that's fine,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It can be had. Well, it just in closing, first I want to say thank you for your time. It's always so enlightening. I think everybody always is curious about diet and nutrition and
Right.
all the facts and myths about it. Is there anything else you want to share before we end today?
I just want to say, it's been a crazy time for all of us these past couple months. But it looks like COVID is just kind of part of our lives now, and this is becoming kind of our new norm. So just don't let your health go to, waste because of it. I know we've been kind of focusing on food for comfort but having a healthy body is so important for being able to fight it if you have it. Unfortunately, we see that a lot of our overweight and obese patients tend to have a much harder time fighting off COVID. So um, it's really important that you kind of maintain your healthy lifestyle, eat healthy, get your physical activity in, just so that, if you are unfortunate enough to get it, you give your body a good fighting chance against it. So I really want, whether it's they talk to me or not, I want everyone to try to follow a healthier diet as much as they can.
Especially at this time, it's really
Hmm.
critical. So, and
Yeah,
especially when it's the hardest, right?
exactly.
Under the
Hmm.
circumstances. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much. It's always a pleasure seeing your smiling face. So
You too.
I appreciate your time and you sharing all your knowledge. And it's Hande Tan,
Mhm.
nutritionist and dietitian, and just full of knowledge and help for anybody looking for it. So thank you so much.
Thank
And I'm
you.
sure I'll see you soon, hopefully in person.
Hopefully.
Take care.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.